Just got back from a walk, still out of breath, randomly checked my phone, and here we have some of the biggest Baldur's Gate 3 news of the year to go over. And all of this is dealing with the upcoming patch 8, of which the stress testing for this patch will begin in January. Now we're talking crossplay, 12 new subclasses, a photo mode, and more. Chapter markers will be below, and I'll also have some more information on if you want to participate in that stress testing. Sorry. There'll be a chapter marker below if you want to participate in the stress testing. Console players, that includes you too. I'll leave a link to this community update down below in the video description. It's called Photo Mode Crossplay and 12 Subclasses coming next year. The intro just talks about mods. 3,000 mods have been created, over 70 million downloaded, including a spell to turn your enemies into cheese. Yeah, we get it. Let's get into the real good new stuff. Starting off with crossplay, which is a feature that has been eagerly awaited by fans for a very long time. If you check Larian's social media posts, almost under every single post, there are angry comments saying, "Where's crossplay? Where's crossplay?" Well, Larian has been cooking. Whether you're joining PS5 players from your PC or jumping into a game with Mac users from your Xbox, Baldur's Gate 3 multiplayer will soon feature full cross-platform progression, including crossplay, just as the gaming gods intended. Once the update is live, you'll be able to invite your friends to join your crossplay lobby directly, regardless of platform, and find available multiplayer lobbies with friends on other systems using the Larian network. And then we have a little picture right here. There's going to be a crossplay tab. Very, very cool. Very excited for that. People have been waiting for this for a very long time, and I think it's actually going to bring in another surge of players here. Okay, on to the next topic, which in my opinion is probably the biggest news here and the most unexpected news. I don't think anybody predicted this, and this is all free. Larian is introducing 12 new subclasses to Baldur's Gate 3 for free. This is a free update. I don't even know, like, sometimes I can't believe it. Like, Larian is like so far above and beyond and so much more consumer friendly than like 99% of all other companies out there. It's almost unbelievable. I don't know if I'm even, am I even alive? Is this real?
No, it's not, Wolfheart. You're just dreaming.
Patch 8 will introduce a new way to play your favorite class, adding one new subclass for each of the existing Bard, Barbarian, Cleric, Druid, Paladin, Fighter, Monk, Ranger, Rogue, Sorcerer, Warlock, and Wizard classes in the game. Expect new abilities, animations, VFX, summons, and cantrips, and unique voiced dialogue lines for the Oathbreaker Knight, with written reactivity for Oathbreakers, along with a touch of homebrewing on certain actions to enhance your role-playing experience. So it's not just subclasses with new cantrips and animations. They're adding some RP stuff to this too. It's just so far above and beyond. That should be Larian's motto. All right, I'm going to go over all 12 subclasses. I'm just going to read it as Larian has written it here. Starting off with the Bard, the College of Galmour. As a College of Galmour Bard, you'll find you have the power to heal friends and command enemies in equal measure. Cast Mantle of Inspiration to bestow your allies with 5 temporary hit points. And should an enemy attack while it is cast, they'll find themselves charmed. Play your hand correctly and you'll be able to use this to your advantage with Mantle of Majesty. Target charmed enemies and you can command them to flee, move closer, freeze, drop to the ground, or drop their weapon. And Larian gives us like a little quick video preview here of these subclasses that we'll be able to test in January if you get into the stress test. On to the Barbarian, which we don't have a video for. Path of Giants. Opt for the Path of Giants, and your newfound giant strength will make it easier for you to yeet friend and foe alike. Forget chugging potions to pump those muscles. These Barbarians benefit from the Giant's Rage passive that grants both strength and size, allowing you to deal additional damage with throw attacks. Pockets weighing you down? Not for you in your increased carry capacity. I like the little extra added touch here. And on to the Cleric, the Death Domain. This was a highly requested Cleric subclass, and I remember talking about this subclass back, I don't know, many years ago at the start of early access, just like speculating on subclasses that we would like to see, and here it is. As a Cleric of Death, you'll find a few dark new tricks up your sleeves, from spells that specialize in necrotic damage to 3 new necromancy cantrips. This includes Toll the Dead. This was one of the first early access mods that I downloaded because clerics don't really have like good cantrips. They're always using Sacred Flame Flame, which misses 99% of the time, regardless of the chance to actually land. But anyways, now we have Toll the Dead, which is a really cool cleric cantrip, and this is a cantrip that causes 1 to 8 damage when your cleric rings the bell of impending doom, a number that scales if your target has already been damaged. So we've also added the homebrewed ability to explode nearby corpses, damaging enemies. That's going to be so much fun right there. You guys know me. I think cleric is one of the most underrated classes, and I think a lot of people come into this game from other games and they think cleric is just going to be like a support class. This is one of the most powerful classes all around, in my opinion, and this one's going to be a ton of fun. The Druid Circle of Stars. These druids look to the stars for answers, accessing powers beyond those offered through the classic wild shapes, taking on one of the 3 starry forms for their power. The constellations of the Archer, Chalice, and Dragon. Each one favors a different playstyle and strategy. The Archer dealing radiant damage with astral arrows, the life-giving Chalice restoring hit points to you and others nearby, and the Wise Dragon, allowing you to deal damage with an added bonus to Constitution rolls. The starry forms offer not just a celestial aesthetic, but practical, powerful options to enhance your role as a healer, fighter, or strategist. The Druid tends to be, I think, one of the less popular classes in this game. And this Circle of Stars seems like it's going to bring a lot of variety to this class and some really cool stuff that you can do. A lot, if not all, these subclasses are D&D 5e subclasses and some adventure module. I'm going to do a lot of research on that, and I'll probably do more in-depth videos on all of these subclasses before even January comes around. Okay, moving on to the Paladin, the Oath of the Crown. You've been sworn to uphold the principles of law. Stay true to your oath, and you'll be rewarded with the power to aid your allies and disrupt your foes. Guide your companions in battle with righteous clarity. Taunt enemies with strategic interrupts, and keep your party standing strong with divine allegiance, absorbing their damage while restoring their health. So I'm going to do some research on all of these and report on them in a video soon. Moving on to the fighter, the Arcane Archer. That sounds pretty cool. Mastering the dual arts of magic and marksmanship, the Arcane Archer subclass offers unique skills on top of new shooting animations. Banish foes to the Feywild. That's pretty cool for a fighter. Removing them from the battlefield for a turn, or unleash psychic damage that forces enemies to make a wisdom saving throw or be blinded until the start of their next turn. This is actually really appealing to me because I'm not a huge fan of the Eldritch Knight. I don't know, I really don't find it that fun, but this seems like a really cool way to bring some interesting magic to the fighter class. Now on to Monk, the Drunken Master. Let's go. There's actually some drunk equipment in the game. I did do kind of like a guide on how to obtain all that equipment somewhere on the channel. Definitely gonna have to try this. Putting the brew in homebrew. As the Drunken Master, you have the ability to consume alcohol straight from your inventory, as well as drink from bottles you see around the Sword Coast in order to recover Ki. I think it's actually pronounced Ki. I know a lot of people say it's Chi, Wolfheart, but I think for D&D it's pronounced Ki. By sharing the bottle with your enemies using Intoxicating Strike, you'll generate a buff towards your armor class and your chance to hit drunk targets. Drunk enemies are also susceptible to the Drunken Master's other abilities like Sobering Realization, which sobers up drunk targets, dealing physical and psychic damage. And on to the Ranger, one of my favorite classes in all games, the Swarmkeeper. Man, that sounds awesome. The Swarmkeeper subclass provides rangers with 3 kinds of deadly swarms to assist them in combat. The Cloud of Jellyfish deals an extra lightning damage, potentially shocking your enemy. The Flurry of Moths deals psychic damage, giving you the potential to blind your enemy. The Legion of Bees deals piercing damage, that's a nightmare for me, and forces the enemy to make a strength saving throw or be knocked back 15 feet. That can be super powerful in this game. Each swarm also has the ability to provide you with teleportation capabilities. And here's our little video right here. Very, very cool. And the Rogue is going to get the Swashbucker subclass, a highly requested subclass. This Rogue subclass introduces a range of new actions fit for the piratical life. It's like pirate. Piratical. Play dirty by tossing sand at enemies to blind them, flick your weapon at a target to disarm them, or use your new fancy footwork passive while meleeing your enemy to ensure they can't make opportunity attacks against you for the rest of your turn. On to the Sorcerer. Shadow Magic subclass. As a Shadow Magic sorcerer, you deal in a form of magic that makes you deadliest in darkness. This subclass gives its sorcerer superior dark vision, as well as the ability to shadow walk between places of dim, light, or darkness. I believe the Shadow Monk has something that's, I forget the official name, but something similar to that. It also lets you call forth the perfectly homebrewed Hound of Ill Omen to harass your foes, and use the strength of the grave to prevent you from being downed. Ideal for those attempting honor mode runs. Man, that's awesome. And we have a little bit of the Ill Omen Hound right here. And then the Warlock is getting the Hexblade, perhaps the most requested subclass in all of Baldur's Gate 3. A very popular melee-focused Warlock subclass in D&D 5e. Hexblade Warlocks make a pact with an entity from the Shadowfell that manifests in the form of magical weapons, curse your enemies and force their souls to do your bidding, slay an enemy that isn't generally an element of nature, construct, giant blob, or already dead, and you'll be able to raise their spirit from their corpse for 10 turns. This new summon can deal necrotic damage and will rip away a chunk of your enemy's soul to provide your Hexblade Warlock with healing. The wizard is getting Bladesinging, another highly requested subclass. I remember talking about all of these before Baldur's Gate 3 came out. The Bladesinging subclass merges swordplay and with wizardry. Expect new spellcasting animations when casting spells with your weapon, a new blade song ability to grant you supernatural speed, agility, and focus, plus gives you a bonus to any constitution saving throw you make. And that is actually it. That is the 12 subclasses right there. And like I said, I'm going to do some videos coming up here soon on the channel, digging deeper into these with what we know about them from D&D 5e. And of course, when they come out, I'll have plenty to talk about and show. But let's move on to photo mode, which is also just above and beyond. I read through this before I made this video, and there's just so much that you can do with it. Larian they're really just they're raising the bar in the industry. We're going to be holding a lot of other companies to higher standards, whether those companies like it or not. But anyways, let me just read through the photo mode here. Larian says it better than I can. Finally, you can stop using pictures of fish you've caught on your dating profile and start snapping photos with your Hound of Ill Omen. Photo mode is coming to BG3 in patch 8. BG3's photo mode is a little like a photo booth that lets you set up pretty much any shot you'd like. This new feature introduces a whole slew of options to let you customize and edit your in-game photography with various levels of freedom depending on whether you're using it while adventuring or during combat, dialogue, and also cinematic scenes. You can actually take photos and pause and stuff. That's crazy. All right, so for the camera settings right here, we have a little bit of a demonstration. Toggleable from the HUD located near the minimap, or by using the hotkey binding F9 on PC and by pressing both analog sticks at the same time on console. You get to choose which character you want to take center stage, determine their best side, and adjust the camera position to suit. And we can just see a little bit of it right here. Look at this. You just click one button and then this all pops up and makes it really super easy to use photo mode with a ton of different options. They'll even set up the scene the way that you want to set it up. As long as they're in your party while adventuring, you'll be able to line up your scene perfectly, including summons and those in wild shape. For all budding virtual photographers, you can also turn on the camera reticle and composition grid to make sure you're lining up the perfect shot. And then for lens settings, determine the angle and sorted the positioning. You'll be able to jump over to the lens settings where you can play around with the field of view, exposure, depth of field, and focus. Obviously, we expect settings like that in BG3. Excuse me, but look at this zoom. That's crazy. That's a really nice setting right there. And then scene settings, NPC running your shot or ruining your shot, toggle off either playing party, NPC, or enemy characters. So yeah, you can basically just turn on who you want in the scene and who you don't. And Larian's even allowing us to set the music for a full-on Faerun musical. You can choose set facial expressions plus a range of over 40 static and animated poses, each with multiple variations to help give you the perfect layout. And of course, you're not making your character do that like in gameplay. This is a shot that you can choose to have Karlach jump up like that. We have a demonstration of some post-processing effects, which you should expect in almost all photo modes, you know, saturation, contrast, highlights, brightness, and vignette. And we have Cecilia Medvisig, a playtester who took this picture right here. Of course, is that in the Underdark? Yeah, where is that in the Underdark? How do I not recognize that? And then for frames, you can add flare to your scene with a range of different frames and letterboxing, and we have a demonstration of a frame right here. And even stickers can be added, over 300 stickers. Oh my God, you can add up to 30 to your scene, including emojis, icons, blood splatters, textures, objects, and items. And of course, cat ears. And we have a little menu here. Look, owlbear beanie, royal crown, and all sorts of settings for those individual items that you add to the scene. This is so far above and beyond. This is crazy. Like, you can add all the sticker. I'm sure we're going to see plenty of photos like this on Twitter, of course, for the romance scene in Baldur's Gate 3. And you know what? I'm all for it. And yeah, that's the photo mode. Holy crap. And details on the patch 8 stress test. Do note that this is for PC and console players, which is super cool for Larian to include console, because typically console's not included for things like this, like testing. Well, it is this time, Xbox, PlayStation, as well as PC. And the stress test is going to begin in early January. At least that's Larian's goal as of right now. That could, of course, be denied. And Larian says you'll have the opportunity to register interest before then. Things will be done a little differently this time around, so we'll be back with community update number 31 to take you through what's being tested and how you can take part. But they do mention up here that the test is going to include basically everything that we just talked about in this update. I'll be sure to do a video or a post or something to let you guys know when update 31 comes out so you can register, and I'll share that link and everything and make it as easy as possible for you. And that's pretty much it. I do want to just quickly mention here that Larian has been nominated for Best Community Support at the Game Awards for 2024. So just when we thought Larian was never going to win awards again until their next game, because they've already won every award possible, they're still showing up. And they're showing up in a Best Community Support Award, which it usually probably goes to a lot of live service games, I would assume. I'm not entirely sure, but this is crazy. Larian's just popping out all these free updates. It's incredible. I really hope that Larian wins that one. I bet you they will, and I'm going to be watching for that. So yeah. And Larian is also saying that we're going to have a very Larian Christmas with December on our doorstep. We're once again bringing back a little Advent surprise featuring a series of little treats for both the naughty and nice. Keep an eye out later in December for puzzles to earn rewards you'll cherish and remember. What a crazy update, everyone. Holy cow. Thank you guys so much for following my videos. I've been covering this game for like 6 years now. I've covered pretty much every patch and community update, and this is one of the biggest patches that we've gotten. And Baldur's Gate 3 has been out for a year and almost 4 months now, with a concurrent player count that's peaking over 100K. For a single player RPG. Obviously it's not single player, but it kind of falls into that category. In this January update with crossplay and all these subclasses, I cannot wait to report on that stuff. What an incredible game. What an incredible studio. Yeah. Catch you guys in the next one.